adversity? Bring it. The struggle? We welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze podcast. Come on.
Welcome back, No Snooze podcast, episode 58, with our fearless leader, David Regina, co-host Mike Pirelli, AV Wizard, Kai Visions, Claudio Venezuela. Did I get the name again? That's why I call him Kai. And then Justin is back. He went to Aruba or something. He left us for weeks.
Jay Sanchi is back.
Jay Sanchi. Today, we have a lot on tap to talk about. It's been a wild couple of weeks, so we're just going to jump around, I think. And then, in addition, if you haven't subscribed, I swear to God, no, I'm just kidding. Go like, subscribe, and support the podcast.
We need those subbies.
So, for real.
Right?
Yeah.
Good. Pod Bod, father figure coming in hot.
I hear there's big news.
Suit's getting a little tight. Justin was looking at it before. So I got good news, man.
Talk to me.
Okay, so I went to, I weighed in, when was that, Friday, right? I go Friday. We had the anticipation the night before. We were all talking, and I said, guys, I had a pretty flawless week. And it was flawless 2 weeks. I had a couple cheat meals in there, but I stuck to everything that I said in my mind that I was going to do. So I go to the gym, and it was one of the weirdest experiences that I've had. Most memorable by far, because I walk in and I see this guy, and he's like, yo, you're the guy that used to work out with Benny, right? Ben 10.
Wow, he said you were the guy that used to work out with Benny.
With Benny, right.
Wow.
Right, shout out to About the Benjamin. So I see him, and I'm like, it's great to see you. And here I come in, and I think I told CV this before. I'm like complaining that like I was a little tired. I'm talking about, like, oh, baby's 9 months now, like blah, blah, blah. Super nice guy. He literally looks at me and he was like, my wife and I, we just lost our 4-month-old daughter.
Oh, Jesus.
So, like, I didn't even know what to say. I was just so taken back. I'm like, oh, my God, I feel like an idiot. I'm so sorry. What happened? He's like, I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out. But it was perspective number one for me, right? So I had plans to go weigh in. Now, this is on my mind. And as I'm walking over to go weigh in, I see this dude, like, dripping in sweat. And I'm like, that is what I'm talking about. Like, that's my guy right there.
Love a good drip.
Right. And I look down, and he's got one arm.
Oh, yes, you were saying.
Right? So, and I saw him a couple weeks back, and I had told you about him. But then I see him again, and I'm like, wow, like, this is just another perspective. So then I text my wife. I'm like, please don't let me complain about anything in my life because, I just ran into these two guys, and they really put things into perspective for me. But I think that God is setting me up for a terrible weigh-in. That's what I was thinking, So now, with the serious stuff aside, but you see how I felt pretty stupid, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's all perspective, but if you're in the moment and you're trying to hit a goal, yeah, it's probably not that important in the grand scheme of things, but in the moment it is.
Right. So, but like the dude with the daughter, like I just felt, you know what I mean? That was I just felt terrible. Then I get on the scale. Now I'm shaking, though. I don't know what happens, but those are the real booms, man. My heart just goes crazy when I'm holding the sensors, and you can't, keep it close to your body, so you got to keep it out, and I'm, like, shaking a little bit.
Well, there's no feedback before then, and you're putting in 1 to 2 weeks of hard effort, and then you're like, I have no idea.
And that robotic voice, I don't like it.
Oh, there's no voice on mine.
Oh, really?
I just got the smooth sounds of Manny and Mike in the background.
Oh, man, so it's terrible. So the week before, I had weighed in at 10.6, right? That was my body fat percentage. I weighed in, and I saw a 9. When I looked down, I saw a 9, and then I saw a 0.6.
Wow.
So I felt thank you. I felt accomplished.
Yes,
right? I definitely did. My weight really hasn't moved. It's 227, so I didn't lose really anything. Muscle went up, though, pretty nice to 120.8.
Wow.
So I'm excited for the next 2 weeks. It was great for me to reach the goal. And I know we'll talk about some stuff today, but CV, started to ask like, well, when is enough enough?
Yeah, which is a good question.
But we'll get into that. And it was a great feeling, but I still need to now sustain that for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got there early. It's like getting wait for a fight, and you still have a week or two to go.
Correct. But so that's me. How are you?
So first, I'll retract the statement I made. I was saying that it was harder to go from where I was to where I am now. And I think that talk has caught up to me because I did a recent weigh-in, and I'm like, maybe it's not as easy as I thought. So I had a phenomenal week. I thought I was going in, I was going to have at least a 13 in there. I weighed in at 14.2 the week before. So I think I got a little lackadaisical. I had a week where I put on a couple listings. Friday, I put up one of the bigger listings, and I kind of like rushed there. But I didn't. I usually fast and not eat or drink water and not work out before I weigh in.
That's huge.
On Fridays.
That's huge. Did you eat?
So I worked out like an animal just to get some stress out because it was a stressful week.
Yep.
And I drank more water than I probably have ever drank, yeah. More than I ever drank. And I took pre-workout, and I had a coffee.
The blue stuff.
So I was like, could it really change that much? I get on the scale. I wanted to punch Manny in the face because he's like, no, dude, that's got to be right. I weighed in at 15.2%. It went up a full percent. So I went to him. I'm like, dude, this can't be right. But he's like, what'd you do this morning? I was like, well, I drank water, I ate, I worked out. He's like, you can't do any of that.
Yeah, you can't do that. Right?
So I was like, all right, let me like come back later today and maybe I get back to where I was. So at least I was devastated. Almost wanted to cry.
Your text message was pretty funny, though.
Wanted to cry. Yeah, what did I say?
No, he said...
I was like, there's no way this is
right. Yeah, he was
right.
like, there's no way this is wrong. I told him it was broken. I'm coming back this afternoon. Hope it's fixed.
and man, he was like, yeah, we're open until 8. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be here.
It's 7:59.
So I worked a full day. I didn't eat one thing. I didn't drink one sip of water, and I just peed constantly throughout the day to see if I got myself back. And my weight was 210 in the morning. When I re-weighed in, it was 201.
Wow.
So 9 pounds of water? Is that even possible?
It is possible throughout the day. Throughout the day, you didn't drink anything?
Didn't drink one thing.
That's a lot. I mean, that is
And
that
I
is
just
a lot.
kept peeing.
But
I was like...
Yeah, so then if you really did overload your body and you were bloated when you got on the scale, and then throughout the course of a 12-hour day...
yeah, because I re-weighed in at like 4, I think.
Yeah,
4:30.
So I mean that is a long day and not eating or drinking anything. I mean, I would have guessed 5 pounds, but maybe it's...
So anyway, came back at 14.2, so it didn't move at all. But I'm suspect. I think I'm in the 13s, but I don't have confirmation of it. So I was devastated. Then I went and we had a little meal Friday. Didn't do well there. Ate like an animal. Saturday had family in town. Ate like an animal. So I had a pretty bad weekend leading into this week.
You're making me nervous now.
So you know what I did? I was like, let me take a little visual check. Let me get a little confidence back. And I was pleasantly surprised what I saw in the mirror. And I'm like, all right, I'm not that far off. I still got to give it my best effort. I'm still 100% committed to it. But the weigh-in was probably worst case scenario I could have had. And I think it's because I got lackadaisical and I didn't do my typical routine.
Makes sense. I would just say, because it's something that I am very conscious of.
Yeah.
I make sure that I weigh in almost the exact same time. And I have the same outfit on. Like, I have the same amount of water in my body, which I drink usually 1 bottle instead of the 2 in the morning. Just because I do need something. I feel dehydrated when I wake up.
What I overthought is that my thought process, which it is what it is, was I have a long day of showings, and I need to fuel up because there's no way I can maintain the level of output I've been doing without some good, like, a full meal, some hydration, this and that. But I didn't take it into account. I should probably just wait in Saturday. But I was getting selfish, and I was like, I don't want to have to diet Friday night. So I got lazy.
I was going to hold this from you guys. I texted you guys to ask, so you guys want to know about this?
What?
Or do you want to wait till the podcast? About the updates. And
I want to know.
You were like, I can't wait that long. I can't wait. So we did it. And then to celebrate my win a little bit, what I did, because I do think it's important to celebrate, a win and then be able to just move forward. We booked that vacation that we were talking about.
Nice.
Right? So that was something that we were looking at for a while. And we had said, when I reach it, we'll book the vacation. And it was just something additional that I added to look forward to. So now we're booked up for August.
Nice.
We're going to Puerto Rico.
So are you trying to maintain it until August so you can have the body on the trip? It would be great to do a trip right during so then you can document
That would have been great if I could just, in 2 weeks, just go to Puerto Rico.
In the past, I don't think I've ever had a beach-ready body for summer. I usually do it in reverse, and I have a beach-ready body in, like, the winter.
Yes.
And then I don't get to share it with anyone.
Well, I plan on being in great shape. Because I told you, backwards hat, tactical baby gear, walking down the beach.
Yeah.
Cali
I have the
on
visual.
there. You got the visual yet?
Yeah, I got the visual. I might. Something you said resonated with me. You said getting in the best shape of your life. So I think even if I fail, I'll still have some confidence and continue with the challenge, knowing that I can confidently say I'm in the best shape of my life.
Yes, and
So
that's
that's
solid.
good.
And you've been so strong, man. And
I know.
the way-
I just hate not getting something.
Yeah,
and
but
then
it's not
getting,
over
like,
yet.
A consolation prize.
No.
Nothing gets me more mad.
It's not
than
over
someone's
yet.
like, "You did good."
But again, that was like your brother saying to me when I
Yes,
was 10-6,
exactly.
like, you know, technically you did it, and I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But again, I don't view that. If you continue the journey and you eventually get down to 10, yeah, the timeline, you failed, right?
Question is, can I? Because I took it for granted, and I think it's harder than I think. I think 3% is a big 3%.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was tough for me. It's
Yeah,
not like
that's why I'm
it's
like-
not like I went like I did this quickly. This took like
Well, that's
3
why I
full
started
months.
thinking about it. I'm like, Dave eats perfectly, usually.
Only Monday through
Works
Friday.
out like an animal, and it took him that long to get there. So am I crazy for thinking that I could try to sneak it in with like a crash diet?
I don't know.
Listen, there's still a big fast on the way
Yes.
before the
Yeah.
final. Like the strategy was, if I was on pace to keep the strategy, if not, need to do a dramatic like 2-day fast going into the last weigh-in.
That would be, hey, look, and if you do it, then the next day
What
you
if
weigh
I
back
screwed
in.
up and I'm like 20% again?
Imagine you just go back up.
So,
So CV, and one, I love having him on the ones and twos and the mic. I hate on YouTube when we're just both looking over here and it's just a visual of us and we're talking to CV. So I think we need to put a camera on my boy soon.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking the same thing. This is what I'm thinking I'm going to do. But you guys are going to have to do some off-camera magic. I'm going to put an avatar in between both
I
of
like
you.
that.
So instead of looking at me over here, just look towards the middle. Pretend you're looking at something.
Or
And
like
that would
someone
be,
famous,
you know.
like in the center of us talking.
Yeah, it makes it tough. But so CV, I want to apologize to CV for last episode. I think my intention is always good. Same with you, with CV as well. You guys are, you know, not only partners, but we're great friends, right? So I talk to my friends in a certain way that I believe fits their personality. If you guys were soft like Gumby, then I
Is
wouldn't
it safe to say that if you're a friend of David's, he will just talk to you as direct as they come?
But do you not want me to be direct with you?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I've been on the other side of it where I've seen it from like the back end, and I'm like,
You're
"Oof,
like,
that
oof."
is a rough.
Okay.
I'm used to it, but a lot of people aren't used
Karina
to the
hates
directness.
it. She hates it. She's
I
like,
could see how, because if you don't know how you are, you could take it really the wrong way.
yes. And I also know CV's, his mindset and his work ethic and the way that he really does want to do something. So that's why I was speaking to him in that way. I don't want people or even, you guys to think that that's just how I approach everybody, because it's not even close. You have to understand, and like CV you had mentioned, you have to know your audience, right, and who you're talking to, because at work, if I just did this, I'd be terrible.
Well, you guys kind of have a brotherly relationship too, where like you rag on each other enough, which is I think is one of the more productive ways
Right.
to be with people, because
If you're trying to get stuff done.
yes,
Right. So CV, I just wanted to preface with that. I love you. I think you took the harsh criticism and the realness of what was said, and I think you knew the intention behind it.
The love is mutual. Thank you. I will say this. I don't think it's anyone's favorite moment, right, to get that harsh criticism. But I think at times it's definitely needed. And I think in that moment,
We're looking over here.
I think, yeah, that's right. Pretend.
I'm looking
pretend.
at you.
I think in that moment, it was almost begging to happen, And, it was an uncomfortable moment. But we always talk about being uncomfortable, right? We're getting comfortable in that uncomfortable space.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was that moment of, and I thought about it afterward. Actually, I thought about the whole day. And not in a bad way. And we had a whole conversation about this yesterday or the other day. And, it was, I know that not that you're going to receive that kind of talk from anybody, but when you know that it's coming from a good place, from somebody that cares, somebody that wants you to do better, you will eventually, at some point, look at it differently and understand what's truly coming out. So here's the update. What ended up coming out of that recording that day, that conversation, was that it stuck with me all day, and I was mad. I got mad, and not mad at David or mad at even what was being said, just mad at that. That's what I needed to, I think, to spark that flame, under your rear. And for me, and this is not for everybody, and I don't know, and that's another conversation that can be touched on because it's not for everybody. For me, I needed, I think, to be embarrassed in that moment, not so much because of what he was saying, because I think what he was saying was 100% accurate, and that's why I even acknowledged it on the moment, but I felt the need to be embarrassed or humiliated in that moment to spark that inner fire, because I think that's what was missing. Everything that was being said was spot on. It was 100%. I knew the answer. You knew the answer. Everybody knows the answer. It's simple. It is really simple. What happens from not wanting to do something to wanting to do something, something has to click. And everyone's going to be different. And I don't even know for me what it is sometimes. I'll talk doo-doo to myself, and it won't be as effective as maybe somebody else talking doo-doo to me. Right? And in that moment, he hit me with that. I expected it because I know what to expect from my friend David Regina. I know T3 the Terminator is back, and I know how he does.
I feel bad.
No, but it's and
I feel terrible.
I think what's important here is and this is what you do very well, is knowing who you talk to. I don't think you're going to say that to anybody. I think because we do have a close relationship and we do talk about this a lot, you do know how my inner workings kind of go. Mm-hmm. So in that, maybe he did take a gamble, because you're absolutely right, Mike. It could have cut me, sideways, and I don't know, this would have been all in shambles. But I think he's a pretty good judge of character, and I think he understood that, and it was almost like that challenge. And I know about myself, and I think he knows it too. When I get upset, my default in my headspace when I get upset is to grind, to work. It happens in my personal life. If I have a fight with my wife or whatever, my immediate instinct is, let me go to the closet and start. Like, that's the best way to get me to clean or get me to organize the closet, because I'll be upset. And the only other way when I was younger, it would be to go play sports, get into a fight, do whatever boys do. And in my older age, let me go clean, and I'll go clean. And I'm cleaning, and I'm busting myself cleaning and working hard. And that's what it needed. It needed me to get mad. He got that out of me. And no different than in sports, because this has been happening in sports forever. That's how your leaders, that's how your coaches, they inspire you, they motivate you, they get you going. They put that flame underneath you. Am I recommending that the T3 goes to everyone's house and do that? It may not be for everybody. Luckily for me, he knows me pretty well. He knew how to get to me. He did it. And the positive out of this whole thing is, it got me going. The very next morning, I got myself into that uncomfortable space. And I'm not going to tell you I'm happy, thriving, getting up early, doing this early, uncomfortable. No, it's uncomfortable, but I'm doing it.
What'd you do? Steps? What was
No, I got up. I went to work early, got on the treadmill.
Beat me. So I actually worked out that day at the gym. Then I went to work to shower. And I still get there before everybody when I shower.
He took your shower?
He was in, so I hear like doom, doom, doom on the treadmill. I'm like, nah, this can't be CV. Like in my head, I was like, no, this can't be him. I look in, I'm like, wow, that is CV. On top of it,
texted me.
I had sent him a podcast to listen to, and I see him like this. And while he's like, and when he walks, he doesn't
With
just
a
walk.
purpose.
Like he trucks. Like my man is focused.
Wait, you don't have headphones?
He does,
You're
but
the
I
AV
think,
guy.
but I think that
That's hilarious.
But part of the struggle was that I thought I wanted
That shows
to
commitment.
to put myself in a position to succeed, but of course, Murphy's Law came about, smacked me in the throat. I was forgetting things left and right. My bag today, almost a week later, is a lot more perfected than on day one.
Yeah.
I had no headphones. Yeah. I had forgotten a sweatshirt. It was a disaster. Thank God I had sneakers at the job, so I was able to put those sneakers on. Ultimately, what matters is that I got on. I did it, right? So,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
what a good
tremendous.
What a good thing to see. That he did it the very next day.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like a Monday or something. It was like it was like a Thursday.
It was Thursday.
Right. And
at the end of the day, too, I think it really doesn't matter what gets you started.
Yeah.
Like, there's no right way to get started.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whatever works.
Yep. But I just think, what he was doing before in terms of him making conscious decisions in the kitchen, great. But if you're really trying to lose 50 pounds in a year, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, just walk.
So just add that extra step to it, literally. And it was awesome to see. So it seems like he found that fire. Now it's for all of us. Like every day when we don't want to wake up and do it, we just continue to do it.
That actually motivated me, CV, because I heard you were putting in the work, and I was like, I can't slow up. Even if I don't hit it, I can't slow up. You gotta go. You gotta accelerate through.
Yeah, no, you got to.
You gotta keep swinging.
Yeah, but that was
love it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So wait, I do have a recommendation for the people.
Yes.
I'm gonna get my recommendation in.
Headphones.
Guys, get out there. Go get yourself a T3 David Regina Terminator. You need
I was like,
you need a flame.
I didn't
what
catch
is
up
that?
on that.
That's from Terminator. He was a T2.
I haven't seen that.
I know. I'll put a reference on the show.
that a movie?
You're CV3.
He said, is it a movie?
CV3. I like that.
CV3, the Terminator.
Good.
Nah, he's a T3 right there.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's go. A little work talk real quick.
Okay.
I need you to coach me, man.
Coach you.
Yeah, just help me here. I've been I've been in a tough season. We spoke about that mentally. It's been a tough time with work, whatever. I put something in my head, at the beginning of the year, and was like, I'm getting a new job opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was one of the goals, right? So I've been really forcing that, and it almost occurred to me that this is part of the problem with people, us as general, right? We like to put things out there, and then we don't take action on the things that we say.
Mm-hmm.
So like what I started doing was like reaching out and taking interviews, right? Because I'm like, well, if I want another job opportunity, what am I? How is not just going to fall in my lap? Like I got to be willing to do things to put me in that space, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been interviewing, and it's been a crazy process. No new opportunity yet, but it seems like there's some things in the works. There's two specific jobs that I'm looking at. One where I'm currently at, which would be a best case scenario, and then another one which is still in the same county, but just different than where I'm at. So I'm asking for coaching advice on dealing with all of these.
Well, before we dive into it, are you
stuff.
more encouraged by the interviews, or are you discouraged by the interviews?
You know what? So I like the interview process, but what I wasn't aware of is how political this stuff gets. So the amount people might be like, well, why are you interviewing so much? And really what it is, when you get to that commissioner level, what happens is there's so many other boards and commissions that have a say in what you do. Right, so it could be the police commission that I was interviewing with. It could be, Department of Public Works, their advisory board, the Housing Authority advisory board. So there's like so many different components that play into this political position. So those are the interviews that I'm taking. It's a little overwhelming because what I had to do was now understand their mission and how I can, come in and assist them. So it's been a lot, But on top of everything else that's going on, with the baby, regular life, blah blah blah. I've never been, I think, my wheels are just spinning. So I had to really settle down and just, take one at a time, which is all stuff we talk about. But I feel like I created this, So that's what I battle is like, you created this, you wanted this, and now you're going to bitch and moan about it?
Well, yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
You're able to vent about things, though.
Yeah, I guess, and that's really what it is, just like just a vent session. But so to answer your question, what was the original question?
You kind of answered it. So
I did, right.
So with these opportunities, like, talk me through it. Have you been talking to like Karina and be like, listen, if this role comes to fruition, this is how it's going to look. What do you think? Like, what's your process of figuring out?
Yeah. So there was a big job that was available that was in our same municipality that she actually turned me away from. Looking back, I think it was a good move, just because the trajectory of my career, the step that I'm looking to get would be above assistant commissioner, but not at that commissioner level. So it'd be one below that, which would be great. And I didn't want to cause conflict either. I don't want to step on people's toes. I don't want to come in young, all fired up.
You ready? I have a devil's advocate to that.
Uh-oh.
So I've never been one to step on people's toes, to an extent, right? No, I'm not that. That's you. No, but I've always been hesitant not to ruffle feathers. But I think if you're acting within your lane and within your own confidence, it's life. It's competition. So, like, at some level, you have to get more aggressive, or you're going to not take opportunities because you're too worried about what other people are going to think. Right? Like, I came kind of to a epiphany about that recently, where I was kind of like tiptoeing through things. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I know is right, and the chips will fall as they fall. And if someone doesn't like it, they can come after me. And, that's why I was talking to attorneys and things to prepare for something like that. Because the reality is, if you're good at your position or whatever you're going to do, and not saying that I'm there, but I hope to be there in the future, people are going to come after you.
Yep.
So it's like no matter what you do, people are going to be pissed off. So do what you want. That's
Yep.
my thought. Within ethics and reason.
Yeah, no,
but
of course.
in the past, I've been a little tentative with things, whereas now I'm like, I'm going for it.
Right. No, I mean, and that's my.
But you're in a different world.
Yes.
You're in a political world,
Yeah,
which it's a little more dicey.
For sure, it's definitely dicey. But what I did was, I did ruffle the feathers because I basically told, the people that I work with, like, look, we need to find ways to make moves, or else I need to leave.
Yeah.
And it ruffled feathers because they're like, well, we don't know what we could do. Like, we can't move as fast.
Yeah, but they got to figure it out.
Well,
right?
I guess, but you put a lot of pressure on people, So I did that, but I think she was right in terms of not going for this one specific job, just because
Oh, and I'm not saying like ignore Karina and ruffle her feathers. I'm saying the public.
Don't worry, I do that anyway.
Yeah, let me
I
specify.
I ruffle her feathers.
Like
all day,
I would
so.
never do something without Dana's consent 100%.
Yes, of course. So I don't know, man. It's definitely been a tough time.
So where's the coaching needed?
Yeah, that's really. I guess I just need you to be an ear.
Just talk to you. Yeah.
Just listen to me.
My biggest advice for anyone and myself that I've been trying to listen to is like, you want something, go after it. You might upset a couple people along the way, but if you take a shot, you could always apologize and figure out how to correct that mistake, as long as it's nothing unethical and uncharacteristic of yourself.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Well said. I have more updates on that house opportunity.
I would love to hear that.
You want to hear about that?
Yeah, because that's kind of the industry anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
It'll bleed over.
It's like a little real estate talk.
Little combo. No Snooze real estate talk.
So the multifamily in Greenwich, which you happen to know well.
I know the place.
Nice area, right? I lost it. I lost the house, right? That was the last update.
Okay, yes,
right?
yes.
Then I get a call, and she's like, David, I really want to re-offer you this house. Make me an offer that's that we can move forward with. So immediately, what do? I call Mike Pirelli, and I'm like, Mike, look, this is the scenario that's going on. And he's like,
I forget what I said. I said, listen, keep her on the hook. What did I look it up?
Yeah, you were like, let me do some research. Let me do some back end stuff. I'll get back to you. I'll pull the the records, blah blah.
And the biggest advice I can give people is like, go see it.
Yeah.
Because you could look at all the numbers, and then when you go to the property, there's things like ceiling heights that don't translate in pictures that make a big difference. If a place is 1,000 square feet, but the ceiling height is like 6 or 7, whatever, 7, versus 1,000 square feet and the ceiling height's 11, it lives like it's 1,500 versus. So the rental changes. So anyway, I called the agent. I'm like, hey, I'm going to preview it just for a couple clients, which is true. I was kind of looking for myself, looking for you, and anyone else it might work for. Because if it didn't work for you, there's someone I might be able to sell to.
Of course.
So I go, very nice. She was scamming me through the property. I was kind of blown away at how nice it looked and the scale of it. Like each unit, I think they were listed as like 2 bedrooms. Are they listed at 3 bedrooms?
Yeah, I think 3s. I think.
Well, they were like set up.
Oh, no, maybe 2s. You're
the
right.
one was set up as like a 2, but
with
it's
an
clearly
office,
a
but it's a
3
3,
bedroom.
yeah.
Like legit a 3. And it was in good condition. It was clean. Lofty. The ceiling height was nice. It was in a good location, good yard, flat, parking. Like everything that I was trying to poke holes in for him, because whenever I look on behalf of friends, I get a little more critical because I'm like, I'm their eyes and ears. He hasn't been in it, or he's been in it, but he wants my professional opinion. And everything that I saw was good. I was like, and I looked at the rents, and I'm like, there's no way these rents make sense. Tentatively, you could, increase them by 50%, I think we said.
Yep.
So I saw it as like a short-term great play, long-term it checks off a lot of boxes. So basically told him, I'm like, listen, if you're serious about it and you can afford it, I would go for it.
Yep.
And this brings me back to the reason of why I want to focus my efforts, because that decision I was so confident in, because I know the market. I've lived there forever. I operate there day to day, that the speed at which I can provide a better service is so much faster in my area of expertise versus if I extend myself, that conversation becomes like 2-3 days.
Yep.
Because I got to keep looking through things. I got to keep rehashing things versus I know the area,
Mm-hmm.
Westchester people are going to keep moving in, this and that, and then able to give you an opinion pretty quickly.
Right. No, so your advice was great, and I immediately called her. I made her an offer.
Yet to be seen. We'll see after you rent it.
What? Oh, well, no, there's updates. So I call her. We have an accepted offer.
Yeah.
Right? So I saw you on Friday night, right? And
Yes.
I had told you it was great. We were, ready to move forward. We then pull, we get the mortgage approval, send the documents over, attorney gets involved. All is smooth. Saturday morning, she calls and she's like, hey, I just need to be very transparent with you because there is still 3 other showings that need to get done. So I'm like, damn, okay, but I guess we'll just put it in the air, and if it's meant to be, it will be. Saturday afternoon, all good. She calls me like, still ready to move forward. On Monday, are you prepared to sign contracts? I said, you know what? I will even give up inspection at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get it done. She's like, great. I get a call Sunday, and she's like, the worst case scenario just happened.
Cash.
All cash, an investor that doesn't live in the area, well above my offer and her original anticipated price.
Mm-hmm.
No bank involved, ready to move in like 15 days. Just looking to, branch out into Greenwich and willing to keep the tenants in place, which was
That's
big.
good.
That's what she wanted. And that's why she wanted me, because she knew that I had the best interests of the tenants. Yes, over time, of course, you want to raise rents, blah, blah, blah. But for the time being, I was willing to keep her tenants, who she's very close to, in place. So this guy came in, and we ended up losing the deal.
Here's my question. So you achieved the goal of keeping one of the tenants in place. That's important,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Is there a way to get the owner to make sure that they have an agreement of like 3-year lease?
So what's funny is then I do some backdoor research. As soon as I hear this, I'm like, this sounds great, but I need to know if there's anything that can be binding for these tenants.
Yeah.
And come to find out, there's nothing. There's nothing in the state of Connecticut legally binding that could be a document. So this guy, whoever it is, or female, investor, can just come in.
If
and
you have a
remove the
lease, though, you could.
Yes. Well, they would honor.
impose
They
that.
would absolutely honor the lease. The
You just
current
have
lease.
to renew the lease.
Right. Correct. Which is not going to happen. Which might be something to her.
Yeah. So I can tell you for a fact, the market's insane.
Yes, and that's what it showed me.
It's
it
like
definitely showed me.
When I saw it, I was like, if he gets this for this price, it's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's things that are head and shoulders worse.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
don't even know if that's the term, worse, that have been going for more. So
Mhm.
it was, but it all happens for a reason.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. But it was tough. A tough pill to swallow.
The real estate world, as far as like the deals, just from one evening to one morning, you could have a bunch in contract and ready to go.
Yep.
And then the next morning, it's all gone. So like you cannot, until it closes.
Correct.
And even when it closes, you got to be hesitant when you get
Right.
that check. You cannot count it. You can't get excited.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do, like you say all the time, is focus on the next task.
Yes.
You get an accepted offer, great. Don't pat yourself on the back. What's the next thing you got to do?
And that's exactly what I knew. I've been here, so I know. Even on the first investment that we made, we lost a ton of deals before we found that one,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even in a comparable market to what it is now.
Yeah.
So somebody will always have more money than you. Somebody will always be able to offer something more enticing. And no matter how good-hearted people are, it becomes a point. That they have to make a decision that's best for them and their family.
Exactly. And then if you have an agent involved, those agents,
Savages.
as your as your real estate consultant, right? If someone offers you, say $80,000 more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you ask me like, what do you think? I'm gonna be like, it's worth the risk. How much? $80,000 is a lot of money,
Right.
That is significant.
Mm-hmm.
So at some level, even if it might not be the safest play, they got to take.
It doesn't make sense, right?
So.
I just wanted to be fully transparent. That was just a fun, looking back, not fun, but fun thing to talk through from start to finish. Moves very quickly. It's been like 3-4 weeks now.
And it could still come to fruition. There are basically the saying's like easy come, easy go. So someone comes in late, all cash, there's no skin in the game for them.
Correct.
Right? So they, right before their contract is going to be signed, they could back out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also have a play where you're like, what's their number?
Right.
And then if I give you this, and if you really want it, I'm not saying force it, but you could force their hand.
Well, she was very transparent with me.
Yeah.
The number was a large number that I was not in
How
a
much
position.
more? Don't say it online.
Yeah, it was.
Say, give me a number in addition.
Yeah, about
So I can
80.
do the math.
About 80.
Oh, so it was.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Right.
You know.
I might. So there might be. So the other thing is those cash people throw out
Yeah.
a bunch of offers.
Yeah, just
then they see
that.
what-
I
so
agree,
maybe-
but I know that the way you saw it,
Oh,
and
you know who
knew.
it is? I know who it is.
You know who bought it?
I'll tell you off air, but
Good.
I've heard of some.
Should we go knock on the door?
No. There's a couple I know of. No, it's just the market's hot.
Yep,
So.
it is. It is. CV, did you? I forget what you asked me yesterday. You started talking about something when I said that.
So were you devastated when?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
no,
because it was
this
like
is
a,
yeah.
if
It
happened,
kind of
it
fell
happened.
in my lap, right? So I was grateful to have even a shot at it. Then I lost it. Then it re-fell in my lap. So I'm like, oh, cool. I felt bad for my brother and sister because this would have been a play at 33, 33 and a third across the board for us, as an investment to then hopefully, keep in the family.
Yeah.
So they got really excited about it. But
Yeah.
I knew that until you close and hand over those keys, I've seen too much that goes on.
Absolutely, and now they'll be prepared if something else
Yes,
comes.
correct.
That you guys are all organized
Right.
and know the deal.
Right.
So, nice.
So I do remember what I asked you yesterday.
Yep.
And it was, what did you learn about this specific experience about, with the going through the house thing? What was the biggest thing you got out of it?
About just not closing a deal like
About
that, and how quickly.
No, about kind of the slipping and falling.
Yeah.
and-
Oh, so I know immediately what's wild about looking back at this. This lady was so nice to give me an opportunity before it hit the damn market, and that's where I went wrong. Right. So if I should have made that call to Mike extremely early in the game, where I sent you over to the place to actually look at it like you did for myself and other clients.
Yeah.
Because if I would have known your answer the way that I knew your answer after, my offer wouldn't have been what it was. I would have come in right away, matched what she wanted, and figured it out later because I knew that it wouldn't hit the market.
So it's hard to look back and say that
Yeah.
because if they had that conversation with an agent already, the agent's not going to let them accept an off market. And if you came in fast and hard right off the bat, they'd have been like, we're underpriced.
Yeah.
So I think in any scenario,
I guess
you
looking
probably
back,
would have
yes.
ended up where you are.
But
so
what
the question is,
what I did
if
learn,
this happened again,
yep.
How would you do it different?
I would
Right.
I would give it my best shot on this opportunity.
You know what you would have had to do?
What?
You'd had to do the old play where you'd be like, listen, I'll give you $750, but I need to know by end of day in contract signed.
Right.
by the-
That's
the only.
That's the Mike
It's
Pirelli.
still no, it's not me, but it's the only way
Yeah.
that you flip the urgency
Yep.
because then they feel like I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
The conversation becomes we don't want to lose it,
Yep. So,
but that's hard in this market because it's not a.
and that would have been a great play, but what I didn't want to do was put any added pressure because she was already
Yeah.
she was being
You're-
great
there's-
to us.
I think you navigated it perfectly.
But to CV's point, I think the realization of knowing that yes, people have great intentions, but you can never get too excited about something from the jump because I saw this with you when you were buying a house, right? Like I remember how upset he was getting,
It's tough.
how upset he was getting when you were losing deals.
Mm-hmm.
I know the real estate market game, right? I'm not the expert in the field clearly, but I know that, I can put a whole bunch of offers in and none of them can be accepted. And then when they do get accepted, it's not like my finances are no problem, right? If I had all cash to play with, now I'm a lot stronger. But the reality is I'm like everybody else. Yeah, we have some investments, we have some money saved up, so we're able to put down a down payment, but it's not, I still need a mortgage.
Yeah.
Right? So knowing that and knowing that I can't control those other factors I really just received confirmation. I don't think I learned anything new. It was just more about like confirming what kind of I had already believed.
Yeah, but I'm happy that your eyes are opening to the Greenwich investment.
Yeah,
risk
for sure.
market.
Well, at that price point, I think it definitely made sense, and to see where that could have been long term would have been awesome.
Yeah. So as far as I'll lean this right into work updates. So as you're mentioning, we brought some new listings on. There's tons of activity. Part of the hardest thing about this market is keeping the deals together and navigating through the multiple offers. Everyone thinks like it's almost easier to do a deal when there's one offer because you have one moving target versus you have 4 offers on a deal. They're all close. One's a little better in price, but the other is a little stronger in terms. One guy's a little more flaky, but he's higher. So you have to like keep one deal together, and then keep the others warm because you don't know if that person's going to leave.
Yep.
If that person's leave, the second offer may refocus to another property, so then you got to go to the third guy. So you're like, instead of negotiating one deal, you're negotiating 4 or 3 to close one, if that makes sense. Then there's the possibility you get to this process and all of them go away, and then you start from zero. And then you have to regain all of the urgency again. So there's a lot of people like, oh, you must be making a fortune, this and that. And I'm like, people are doing well, absolutely. But this, I would say, is one of the harder markets because of the muddy water of deals. You're not just negotiating one-on-one, you're negotiating 3-on-1.
Makes
and
sense.
everyone's calling you, and you're trying to keep everyone warm. So that's been a difficult part of this market. And then if you're on the buyer side, it's just low inventory. So there's a real... What I do with a lot of clients now is like, to be realistic, like we're not all cash. So whatever offer we put in, even if you play all of your cards right, we might not get it still because
You could have finished your sentence, but is that greed? Is it greed that's making this market so volatile?
No, I think it's supply and demand. It's as old as day. Like there's a certain amount of houses, and there's a huge supply of people that want to buy these houses, and there's sellers who it's one of their best times ever to make their whatever they want to sell.
It's greed. They're trying to make
no,
the top dollar.
You can't just say it's greed.
Yeah, how's it
because
greed, ZV? If you wanted to sell your house right now,
so let me ask you this:
if you're selling your house
for
exponentially more than what it's really worth,
that's not true
greed.
though, because we don't know what the value of the house is. The value of a house is what someone will pay for it, right? So let me ask you this: let me do the reverse for you. If you're buying a house, would you pay $30,000 over what you offered? Would you, if you're buying a house and you have a deal, would you pay an additional $30,000 more?
Of course, I did. It's because of that demand. But again, that's if we're doing the right thing as people.
Excuse me, sorry, I did it the wrong way. So if you're buying a house, I did it backwards, and you have an accepted offer of $500,000, would you say, I would love to sell it for $30,000 less, or buy it for $30,000 less?
If I'm selling the house,
if you're buying a house and you have a deal for $500, and someone says you can buy it for $470, would you take it?
Of course.
That's the same thing. It's not
it's
greed.
Not the same thing. When
it's
you're
just
selling,
financially
when
responsible.
It's price gouging. When there's hey, it is what it is. When a tropical storm hits and there's no gas, and the gas is normally $2.50, and now there's a higher demand because there's less gas stations selling gas. I'm going to give you a $20. No, that's price gouging. That's illegal too.
CV, you get.
So this is a little bit extreme because it's not what it is.
Different.
But the houses, the way they're selling, the way I remember putting an offer $60,000 over that I lost.
But you're not.
That's not even that. It probably wouldn't have made an inspection. Not inspection. What's
appraisal.
Appraisal.
But it could have because we don't know what the market's gonna be after this. I'm not saying the numbers aren't crazy. I'm not saying that.
But it's a game. And that's what I'm trying to get to. It's
Capitalism's
a game.
a game. Money's a game.
Yeah.
Like money's not
absolutely
right. Like you go to a job.
Games are played fairly, and sometimes they're played unfairly.
And that's
life's unfair because
you can't get sensitive because your personality.
Life's unfair because
and he gets very attached to things.
Which it's not
a bad thing, but you're going to get your heart broken.
It's an emotional process, no matter what. Even as much as I say, like, I try to be unemotional. You feel for people who lose out on deals because you see them every day. You see them with their kids. They fall in love with houses. The deals don't work out. So there's 100% that element. But at the end of the day, we're in a capitalistic society. And if there's 10 people want to buy one house,
correct,
that price is going to reflect that, unfortunately.
Yep.
So it's like you can either buy something that a lot of other people don't want for a fair price, or you try to buy something that other people want and you got to pay a premium.
Right.
So it's just, I know what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I don't really. Let me answer this correctly. I think ultimately people are motivated by benefit to them and personal interest, and a lot of times that personal interest is money,
because money can create
greed. You could say greed. It's just money. It's opportunity, right? Like people say, oh, if I can get an extra $50,000, I have the opportunity to pay
it's
towards.
Being opportunistic.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
taking advantage of something that's happening, and you're taking advantage of it.
But CV,
I'm not saying it's not capitalism.
No,
I'm not saying it's not okay. I got you. It's happening, so it's okay. It's legal.
But if you list your home, right, and you say, I bring you an offer, right, and it's like, I don't know, say $500,000. then we get someone else that's going to pay $550. And you know, Catherine and talk, and you're like, this $50,000 would let us do this much stuff for our family, and it would put us in such a better position in the long term. Do you think it's wrong if you accept that offer?
So let me flip that on you and ask you this question.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
If that offer was given to you and
Yep.
there's a potential to make an extra $50,000 for you would be great. But if you knowingly know that may put the other people at a disadvantage, would you still do it?
What other people?
The people are going to give you the extra $50,000. If you know that extra $50,000 is going to put them in a position that they're going to be struggling, would you still do it?
So I, as the
And this is when it comes. This is ethics, right?
I'm
We're
going to
talking
talk
about ethics.
absolutely. So ethically, I am representing the seller. So I am.
But that wasn't my question. I asked you a direct
I'm
question.
answering your question. So give me an opportunity to. I'm representing the seller. So I have to do my duty to make sure that they're the best represented. My job is not to make sure that everyone in the process is not hurt. Everyone's an adult. They can go get their financing. Their agent is enlisted to make sure that they are safely putting in offers, right? I never recommend anyone to overextend over what they can afford. When I'm on the selling side, if that is what they present, I have to encourage my seller to pick the one they're most comfortable with.
But you haven't answered the question.
That is, I just did.
No. I asked you directly. If that were you, if you're buying a house,
I guess the answer is I don't know what they can afford.
Can I give you a scenario of what just happened to me too? I'll be even more transparent about this deal. So come to find, so this actually just happened to me, right? She called me back to then say that I got an accepted offer, then called me back to say that I lost the deal. Come to find out, I do a little talking with her, and she's like, you know, being 78 years old, my husband not being in great health, then we're also responsible for our grandchild who has severe special needs. And this extra money will put our grandchild through this school that we're looking for. The money makes a major difference.
Yeah.
So to CV's point, you never know what people are going through.
Yeah, you have no idea.
You have no idea. So what seems like greed to me, when she told me that, I said, you know, I'll just call her Miss, but, you know, you have to do what's best for you and your family.
Yeah,
and that's why I try to, when I first started out buying investments, I was extremely gun-ho and extremely kind of like CV is, you know, extremely sensitive and close to the deals. But then once you go through it, you lose 500 deals. You're just like, all right, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that was a great perspective moment for me because she had to go with that extra money. You have to.
Yeah. I think ethically, I am very ethical. I don't know, you both have worked with me. I don't think I've ever pushed anyone to pay for more than they can afford. No. I've said, listen, I think the deal happens here. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. We'll walk away. So I think that's the only way you can stay ethical in this type of market is whenever I'm in a multiple bid situation, I talk to my clients and I let them know. I say, go with a number that you're okay with losing the property at and you can afford.
Right.
Right? It does us no good.
Yep.
If you buy a property, you can't afford it and you foreclose and then our relationship goes to hell because at the end of the day, I want to make sure you're happy. So I know what you're saying. It's just and when you're on the selling side, you hope that the other agents involved in the process are just as ethical. Does that happen? I can't say
of course.
Confidently that happens.
Right. No,
all you can do is what you can control, you know?
Yeah.
So
that was good.
Tough.
Good
tough
section.
Market.
Gets a little heated, but I like it.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we partnered with our good friends over at Orgain.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NOSNOOZE30. Again, that's NOSNOOZE30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, Orgain is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from Orgain. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what we need to talk about?
Yeah, Tesla.
The Tessie talk.
That thing was incredible.
So break it down.
No, you
break
lead
down
into
the
it.
experience.
You lead into it.
Okay, so Mike and I went with our wives to.
You had a better showing in the car, so.
To our great friends Nick and Jenna.
Thank you for having us. Great time.
Yes, thank you. Had some good food. We're all hanging out. Then Mike brings up the Tesla conversation, and we were like, wow, we just had this conversation this week. Can we check the Tesla out? Nick has a Tesla. and he has the Tesla. Is it the truck? Like what do you call that?
Was it an S?
No, not the Model S. The it says
wasn't a
dual
truck.
motor on the back. I don't know what, but it's like the
two non-car guy. Well, you're more of a car guy.
No, but it's the Tesla. You know the bigger Tesla?
Oh,
Model X.
He has an X?
Is it an X?
No, he's got an S. It's an S.
Is it an S? Yeah. Okay. So it's bigger than the regular car, though.
Well, the regular one is a 3, I think, right? Model 3.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's
so
the smaller
maybe
one?
it is the S, right? So we get in this car. It's four of us because Brother Bill is
Brother Bill.
and bigger guys too. I mean, you got Mike and I.
Yeah.
We're extremely low body fat.
So we were lighter.
So we were lighter on the car. But Nick makes this bold comment, and he's like, "You've never been in a faster car than this." And I'm not a car guy, but I'm like, I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
See how it
I
goes.
guess.
Yeah.
So we hit the road, back roads, and my man just like, kind of steps on the gas. My face, my head, the back of my head.
He goes, I'm about to punch it or something like that. And I couldn't find the belt.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like lock in the belt, and I like am flexing because I'm trying to stay still, and I think I pulled a pec.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Dude, it might be by far the fastest car I've ever been in. The pickup in that Tesla.
Pickup, that's a good term.
Yes.
Yeah.
The pickup, the 0 to 60 was something that I was not prepared for.
I believe it's. Do you know what it is?
No, I don't know.
It's like 2.6 seconds, which most muscle cars, they're doing if they do a 4-second run, something in that realm, it's a very fast car. A car coming in the 2s, for that, it's insane.
The jerk
yes.
and the kickback was extreme.
It felt fake.
Yeah, it did.
It's like when you go to the golf club, right? And you get the little golf club and you hit
exactly.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Tesla Model S goes 0 to 60 in 1.9.
1.99 seconds, 0 to 60.
I've no reference.
That's
for that.
bizarre.
It sounds fast, but I have no reference.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, then we all got a shot at driving this thing, right? And it was super fun. So did I drive first?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I
you
drove
first.
And Nick is like, step on it, step on it, step on it.
It was an extreme. If he was the test driver for Tesla and he ran them, they would sell a bunch of them.
100%.
Yeah.
So we were all like, we're buying Teslas, we're buying Tesla. We're screaming Tesla.
Well, Dave gets
to the
in
back
and
roads.
he's like, Dave's I consider probably a good driver, right? Would you consider yourself a good driver? And he's hitting turns and like he's using the power.
Yes.
I get in and I'm like, how do I throw this baby on autopilot?
Yes.
I was driving slow,
Yeah.
but when you do hit it and it's an instant, there's no lag, right?
Yep.
Every car I've driven has like the Jeep took 5 seconds to even accelerate,
Yep.
and then the car now, I love my car, but you punch it and it just
Yes.
So it was.
And we were all saying that we just drive dumb cars.
This might be a bold statement. I don't understand how, if you can afford it, I know it's a little more expensive,
Yep.
people don't drive them because it seems like it's just so much more
I was doing some more
smart.
research after that because that experience was absolutely insane. And
I priced one out.
the auto drive,
Yeah.
all you have to do is every 30 seconds, you just have to touch the wheel.
That was
to
wild.
let Tesla know that you're still kind of
How,
awake.
is it spacious? Is it?
Yo, we had
it was pretty nice.
4, 6, 2,
But that was a
6 foot-
bigger one.
4 6'2" dudes and 2 of them in the back and
Yeah.
2 in the front.
It's not
and we were fine.
huge. Like it's definitely not big.
yeah,
But it's comfortable.
yes, absolutely. And I would say like it's equivalent to any mid-size truck that's out there.
Can you put a baby seat in a Tesla?
Absolutely.
I was going to research that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know it's
and they're
safe.
extremely safe. But so what I was doing, because I was doing some research, I'm like, one, I guess they're a little pricey.
They are more expensive than I thought they were.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But the thing was the parts are extremely expensive right now.
Yeah.
Like on-
because you
on
only can
repairs
get them
and-
serviced, but you got to get it through
and
Tesla
insurance.
so you can get the warranty.
And insurance.
So I actually was doing some research because I think I can buy it through my LLC.
Mm-hmm.
And gas-wise, I might save a bunch because
Yep.
I'm always driving. And then as far as a write-off, I think there's some tax incentives for companies to buy something like that. So I started to talk to the accountant just to see if it was an option.
Wait, how long does the battery last? Especially for somebody like you that-
360 miles.
And there's
No matter how you
to the
drive
charge,
it.
yeah.
60.
Or something like that.
There's a long range version, and then there's a short, like a mid range. I would, if I did it, everything in research, you got to go long range, and I would have to get the autopilot.
Have to, yeah.
Or the self, whatever the upgrade is.
This was the biggest thing, though, that now I believe.
But they're expensive.
Now I understand why Elon Musk is a genius. Now I understand it. 'Cause
Now?
no, I'm serious because yes, the technology of it, great. But
how
you
he
don't really
controls.
understand Then when Nick was saying, he's like, look, the best part about Tesla is you can buy a used one and everything is a software update. So he's like, yo, I can go on my phone, and if I want to speed up my vehicle in a 0 to 60, all I have to do is pay $2,500. And at the click of a button, you pay, Apple Pay, whatever it is, now your car is faster.
It's wild.
If you want to pay $8,000 to upgrade the full autopilot, boom, in the click of a button.
Well, it's 10
happening.
now. I just saw
10,000.
Yeah, now it's 10.
That's crazy though. That makes sense. The fact that I could buy an older car and
it's like
still have
Apple.
the upgrade. No,
Yeah, it's the same thing as an iPhone. You keep upgrading the software.
no. But like you still have a home. Wait, you still have that circle button. You got to get a new phone, bro.
I know.
You still
So
gotta get a
eventually,
new phone.
no,
but
I did. I
you see
saw
what
a
I'm
guy
saying?
from Verizon, and
Look,
he
you have the
he told me I
button
need a new
still.
phone.
Yeah, you have the button still, and I don't have a button anymore.
Yeah.
But so Tesla
What
would
does
be
that text say? We got any
no, I
action?
don't know. So Tesla though, they all the body doesn't really change like from year to year, right? So you're just upgrading the actual software, which is
Yeah, but that's
amazing.
what I'm saying with Apple.
So what
you can
about
upgrade
battery
the iOS.
longevity?
So they
Because
have,
that's the one thing that you would have.
So-
I would assume that would die, or
No, so it's the 360 something miles.
no.
but
I
he's
mean,
saying
like over the
for,
life of the
like,
vehicle.
if
So
it's
like
gonna-
an engine,
oh.
and the engine will last you 100,000, 200,000.
So I have no idea, but I think there's some type of concept where you can swap them out. But by the time the battery dies, you can always trade it in or whatever.
Yep.
I think it's like you get a Tesla, and then within a certain window, you can trade in for another one type of thing.
Wow.
But I'm not sure.
cool.
I want to investigate that. But anyway, I priced mine out because part of an exercise I like to do is really get down to the numbers, visualize it, see what I can, what I need to do to get
So
one.
when are you buying this thing? When are we going?
I'm not going to put a date on it because the last time I put a date on something, it was a little aggressive. So I'm going to try to. There's a couple of big life moves I need to make before buying it, and we need to buy the next house for the babies, potentially. For the game plan, possibly having two.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in the works, but we are situated and ready to buy. We just got to get the right fit. But I don't know if I could justify doing the Tesla
Prior.
move
Yeah,
before.
makes sense.
But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, makes sense.
I got to
Look at
run the numbers.
Deals that
Awesome,
come by.
though.
Yeah.
The other thing that's genius is that apparently he controls some of the software updates so that he can manipulate those prices so that the perceived value of resale is maintained.
Wow.
So versus a typical car depreciates.
It's almost like a
and-
classic.
Kind of, yeah. But he's controlling all that cost, so he can manipulate it depending on what he wants to retain the value of the cars, which is wild.
So Google Justin just got on the phone
Google
and did some good research. Not that you guys were worried about this, but the battery life will last up between 100,000 miles and 150,000 miles. So like an
that's
engine,
like a regular
Can
engine.
you swap
like
it
a
out?
regular. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like
So it's
any
like an
engine.
That makes sense. My only thing now with Tesla, right? Like I'm not sold on the look forever.
I'm sold.
Like it looks cool, but like I know when every other car begins to do that. Like Karina's car operates the same way that the Tesla does.
Does it though?
So with the functions, yes, they're definitely not as fast.
Yeah, but did you? And no, I'm
Right,
honestly asking.
she has the hybrid GLC.
What was the?
And I'm not gonna lie, mine drives itself too.
Does it really?
Well, without the steering wheel,
I
I
haven't
gotta do
driven-
that part.
I haven't
Wait, I
driven.
don't get it.
My car has this thing called adaptive cruise control, which different from the regular cruise control. It has this massive ball on the front of the bumper, and as cars get in front of you or whatever, it adjusts the speed so you don't ever have to. Remember the old cruise control?
Yeah, you
If
just
somebody got in front of you, you have to
adjust
kind
speed.
of disengage
That's cool,
or whatever.
yeah.
So all I do in the mornings, and I do this so I won't get a ticket flying, I'll put that on, and I just with my hand just steer.
Yeah,
and
you
let
really
it-
have to steer that, like Tesla.
Right.
you don't steer
Well,
nothing.
that's why I was joking
It's
because
crazy.
it's, you know,
But
that's pretty
I was in-
advanced.
But
I
like
thought.
when
you did both, right? You've ridden in both. What was the experience for both?
No. The
Not
Tesla
even close.
is so much faster, than the Mercedes. But like the
No,
Mercedes,
not the
is-
Mercedes. Oh, the Mercedes is a hybrid?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Karina's is a plug-in.
Karina's is a plug-in. That's
you
such a
didn't
funny
see
concept.
you didn't see that big plug in his garage.
Yeah.
I did.
Every time
So
you go in.
that's the other thing I'm thinking. Like I would have to use my garage for a garage, like and plug it in.
And plug it in, yeah,
Which
for
is
sure.
fine.
But
How
so, like,
comfortable is this
her
thing?
car?
Oh,
comfy.
dude.
Tesla. So I will say though, it's nowhere near as
Comfort level?
luxurious as the Mercedes.
So
is.
I'm looking at it from a technology
it's
angle.
exactly minimalistic, clean.
for like work. I'm purely looking at it for like a work thing, and then to know that like if I do get distracted, I have at least a backup plan.
Right.
Because like even looking, how many times have I looked at my phone during this
Mm-hmm.
podcast? Just knowing that I have to look sometimes.
Yep.
is like.
But the self-driving feature, that's on highways, or is it in
No,
also
it's on
local
back roads.
roads?
So
Oh,
they have-
really?
they-
So you can go from
Dude,
here to the store and it does it by
I
itself?
literally did this.
That's pretty wild.
I did this with
And Mike
3
was like,
people in the car.
"No."
I was freaking out because it's so counterintuitive. You're like this all the time, especially when it's going a little faster, and just it was wild.
And all you do is have to touch the wheel to let
So
Tesla know
you
you're
ran
around.
numbers, right?
It blew my mind.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would it be cheaper, more affordable to get yourself a driver to drive you everywhere?
No.
That's a hilarious concept. 'Cause
No.
remember I was saying that?
Because you have to pay an hourly fee for a driver.
It depends
right?
what quality
I
driver
only
you
Justin,
need
how
you
much
to
do
go
you
to the
charge to drive us
supermarket
around?
and to the gym. That's
It's
it.
like the in between, but at some point it's going to be autonomous. Like
Yeah.
you literally, they have you hit a button and it picks you up.
But think about it. Even if this right now, which would sound crazy, right? $800 a month sounds expensive. A Range Rover, $1,000 a month on a lease, even, right? On a Tesla, you have to be. I mean, I'm sure you ran the numbers. Ballpark. Are we talking 600? Are we talking 800?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the best. So I got to figure out if it makes sense to finance it, and then because I think if I trade my current car in and then I have a deposit, the monthlies aren't going to be high at all.
Right.
It's just a matter of what makes the most sense for the business.
The typical Tesla
because I
deal.
think you could write off 25,000.
I'm
with,
sure. Yeah.
Whatever that.
But the typical Tesla deal is like a $5,000 down.
But they have current inventory Teslas, so I know what I want.
Do you save a little money? But they don't really give discounts.
They're
right?
like used.
No Disneys.
So yeah, kind of do.
Pay what
because,
it costs.
So when they test ride cars, they are technically new, I believe, but they just want to get them out of circulation.
Yep.
So they'll put them up on their website as like a current inventory, and those are maybe 20% cheaper, 15%
Oh
somewhere.
wow, that's nice.
So like a $60,000 version, you might get for 40, but you just
be
got to
great.
make sure it has everything you need.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, as long as I have autopilot and long range, I think you're good.
Wow.
Because I think that's what. But I don't know. I have to do the math. I got to figure it out. But they're probably
But it's like $200, $300 a month in gas anyway. On
true.
a regular car.
I've never done the math on it, but I would have to think I would save money on gas.
I hear the bus does take you wherever you want to go. Pretty cheap too.
Yeah. I can't show up to listings in a bus. though.
That would be hilarious.
That's my bus. But that was, that's a realistic thing that I didn't think was obtainable because I was like, I can't buy it. And then I started thinking, how can I buy it? And then
But why couldn't you buy it?
just because I had a mental block on it. Like,
Oh.
I just didn't have a care for cars.
Yeah.
But because it's got utility value and there's some type of benefit, I all of a sudden get interested.
I guess, but what happens when every other car does the same thing?
It's not going to happen for a long time. Like, think about how smart Elon Musk is, how long it took him to get to this point.
And then what will those look
People
like?
they're probably like 3 to 6 years behind him.
Yeah.
I would get. I have no idea.
Right. No, it makes
I'm
sense.
speculating. I've heard people say that, so I'm regurgitating.
Good Tesla talk.
Yeah, it just blew my mind. After that, I want to invest in the company too because, and that's not even going into their solar, like into all the
Yes.
other stuff they
That's
do,
that's the
which is real estate
next
specific.
thing is the real estate stuff with the Tesla. Current event. We're just rambling today, huh?
I like the rambles though.
Current events. I
Yeah.
have one for you. Did you see the Kanye West? Kanye West offers the city of Rye 10% of his wealth
Rye, New York?
to change the city of Rye to Yay.
Really?
Yes.
You're kidding me.
I
How did I
swear.
not know this?
So, this has been rumored back and forth.
That's hilarious.
right. How crazy is that? So
If you're Rye, you have to do it.
Right. Rye, New York is a very affluent area of Westchester County. And we have to specify that for
How much did
for
he
the
offer?
listeners.
Sorry.
10% of his wealth was what was said.
Is he broke now?
And no, what do you mean is he broke? No, he's $1 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean 100 million,
100 million.
all right? Not bad, but
For the town.
the purpose of it was to like eliminate the school tax and stuff, which is stupid in a place like that. Like go do that in like Mount Vernon or go do that in
He doesn't care.
you know what I mean? So the real story, so that was the story that broke. Come to find out, the real story is that he's actually looking to move east, right? And he is looking at 3 different properties in Rye, which is absurd.
Hilarious.
He's looking at 2 ridiculous mansions and then a 3rd place, which is now, I think they might have closed, an old Mrs. Green's. It's an old Mrs. Green's, like
Yep.
the superstore or whatever.
Yep.
Is it a green store? Right? Is that what it is?
I think I showed that property.
Really?
Yeah.
So there you go.
But
So-
that's a commercial building.
So he's looking to buy one of those for a studio, one of them for his house, and one for Sunday service.
Dude. if you're Kanye West and you move to Rye, New York, and I don't think that doesn't sound real. The offer to rename it Ye.
Yep.
I would take it.
Rye wouldn't do that.
I would take it and say we're going to call it Ye for the first year, right? No taxes for everyone for the first year. We're covering the cost, and then attract everyone back
To Rye. Yeah, that'd
because
be a good
everyone's
way.
running away.
But so Rye is so affluent now, it doesn't even matter though. Like there's a lot
That's
of
true.
there's a lot of money in Rye.
It's like a drop
So,
in the bucket.
Yeah, so it's not really that crazy. But I figured you'd think it was interesting.
That's an amazing current event.
Yeah, right. And but imagine his agent. How lucky are you?
Why?
Not you, but being Kanye West's
Oh,
agent.
real estate agent? I don't know. So this is what I will say. Sometimes when you get up in that upper echelon, they make you bid for the
But it doesn't
the
matter.
the right to represent them and pay them, because of your marketing after that, you'll forever be known as Kanye's realtor.
Right.
So like I think LeBron had a open bid system and people were bidding like millions of dollars to represent him,
Oh wow.
which
So you
I
gotta
mean it
pay.
makes sense.
Yeah, that
because you
does.
get one deal like that and forever.
Yeah, you're pretty good on a.
There's I'm not going to say names, but there's an agent in town that has made a living off of representing one client.
That's pretty sick.
She's like, known as
Well,
like
not
she-
for nothing. These 3 properties, I mean, they add up to over 500 million.
Yeah, I mean you'd be definitely
Like
defined.
one mansion was like 175 million.
Yeah.
Like that is ridiculous.
That's greed, see.
Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
right. I thought that was a good one to bring. So what do you got for us?
That was a good one. I don't know how I'm going to top that current event.
No, it's not about topping it. It's just give me some celeb gossip. This is what I like.
I don't even know if I have celeb gossip. I have some like other news gossip.
How random is this? I just said
Tech
celeb,
news.
But does Mike look like Ben Affleck?
Why are you saying the name again?
Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
Oh, why did I say
Affleck. Ben Affleck.
Right? In the
Affleck
suit,
is the
I do.
duck.
I-
The duck
You always
insurance.
get that though, right? Do you
No,
always get Ben Affleck?
I don't get Ben. I get the guy from Karate
Wait, Ben
Kid.
Affleck?
Karate Kid.
Karate
Camacho, whatever the guy's name is.
Ralph Macchio.
Didn't he get arrested?
Why am I bugging out with this Affleck? Is it Affleck? Ben Affleck.
Freaking
Affleck.
out.
Affleck is that insurance company.
Yes, but
Affleck, Ben Affleck is
Ben Affleck. Yes,
yeah.
okay.
Affleck.
Affleck.
Now I'm done.
That's a new
I know. I sound dumb. Go ahead. So current event me, Ben.
Ben. I'm trying to think of what. There's a tech one. I'll give you one with Bitcoin. You want a Bitcoin one?
Talk to me.
So Bitcoin is currently at
$54,670.
56.
Oh.
So 56.6. There is a big event apparently that's going down where there is a gentleman that is loading up, and he is buying tons of it, and he thinks there's going to be institutional investments coming soon. And the big debate is that September-ish, there's supposed to be another crash. There's like a cycle we talked about, right?
Yep.
So the big debate is like, is there enough money in the system where if this thing crashes, are we not going as low? So you got all these people that are like, we're never going down again. You have people that are like, we're going back to 10K. So there's a lot of chaos in the BTC world. And you are known as a hodler if you just hold through all of it. So I will plant my flag in the ground and call myself a hodler.
A hodler.
But
Did you buy
it's-
Bitcoin?
I have some.
Nice.
So
You bought
it's-
one Bitcoin.
Well, you can't. So I guess you're not supposed to say, right? Like I find that I wouldn't anyway, but a lot of the community says you shouldn't say anything because if someone wanted to, they can come and try to attack for the Bitcoin because it's hard to recover.
Where
because
is your
it's digital.
Bitcoin stored?
I will not mention where it is.
Do you
but-
have an actual Bitcoin?
No.
Do they send
no.
you a Bitcoin in the mail that
No,
you can?
but I was thinking about buying one just to have something
Yeah.
physical that I'm
Right,
like,
yeah.
that for all the money, that's it. But it's interesting that there's so much speculation
Mm-hmm.
going around if it's going to crash, when it's going to crash. At the same time, people are talking about the real estate world
Yep.
and what's going to happen there. So it's we're in such unsure times. It's very difficult to like make any sense of any of it.
Right.
Right? Like, are you aware of any of the conversation about a market or a house market crash?
Yeah, I've been seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what to think about it.
I know but it can go either way, right?
Because in theory, it's possible that people just keep buying more things because there's more money circulating. There was a stat that 10% of the world's money was printed this year, something crazy like
Wow.
that. I don't know what the actual stat is, something like that.
Yeah, well, look at all the stimulus too that's going out. Like, they're just printing money, going to more debt.
But logically, I know the market's not logical, but if you said that 10% of the money is all brand new then wouldn't people have more money to buy things with?
But
So
doesn't
then,
that just mean that
you know,
our dollar strength just
is less?
gets less?
But then the argument is like, then all houses, cars, watches, everything's just going to keep going up. Is the conversation? So I don't know, because people are like, "Is this a safe investment?"
Yep.
And I'm like, I have no idea. I know in today's market,
Right.
it seems fine, but we don't know it's going to be a year from now. So I don't. It's wild. It's you know.
It will be interesting to see.
But current event, Bitcoin
it's
all
good.
over the place,
Yep.
housing market all over the place.
I like it. Good stuff. No Snooze Reckies.
this episode all over the place.
CV's like a co-host now. My man was cutting Mike off. I love it. And
My
Mike,
fault.
That's Mike. No, it's
I
good.
apologize.
No, don't apologize. That's what.
I got excited. This is giving Mike time to go to his little book.
Yeah. Wow. Mike brought bagels. I'm starving.
For Justin to lift.
So
That's not right.
wait.
You want to go first? You go first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think I need Justin to come over here to show this one off here. So we are going with. Let me make sure I got all my talking points right. So you know I'm a big watch guy. We've been talking about some big investments lately, right? This watch is for everybody. I have some nice watches, right, and more on the pricier side, and some watches that hold up. They're just as durable, but are significantly less in price. This happens to be one of them. Justin, please step into frame to show off the Invicta Pro Diver 42 millimeter stainless steel watch.
Put them on your. You can put them on your wrist. Is it gonna?
This
fit?
is, yeah. So this is actually one of my favorite watches, and you gotta go into that one right there.
He's like Vanna White.
Yeah, go into that watch. I mean, into that camera right there. Boom. So this is a scratch resistant watch. It's got a date display with a nice size number on it, which is awesome. Water resistant at 200 feet. Do you think you can ever get down to 200 feet?
I was gonna say, why are all these popular watches?
Because they're
like,
diving watches.
I get it, but how did diving watches become like a thing?
Because scuba diving.
Because of the
Functionality,
technology that-
yes,
Gotcha.
the functionality, right?
But
So-
realistically, do we go scuba
Also-
diving with our watches on?
yes,
A lot of people
absolutely.
because the time
Is that a thing?
is so
when I go on
important.
vacation, I never take my watches off.
Really?
Yeah, because I have
No.
because they're stainless and
Yeah.
you can go into the
But
ocean.
Well, no, I was saying because your suntan, like your
But isn't
tan
the
lines.
main-
Oh, no,
Isn't
I-
the main thing because it's a science to come back up for air? Like if you come up too fast,
well,
you'll
so that's
die.
what the big numbers are for. It lets you know
Ah.
how deep you actually are.
Hmm.
So there's a functionality behind it, but it looks just like the Rolly
I said, I thought it was.
Submariner. But instead of running, $10,000 to $15,000, this runs. Listen to the price here: $280.
Listen to the price here.
$280, but I buy all my watches at jomashop.com, JOMASHOP.com, and they have an extreme dizzy going on. 85% off brings the watch to $58.
Wait, what?
$58, kid.
$58.
$58.
I spent more at McDonald's
Feel that-
before.
Feel that watch,
Let me see
though.
this watch.
Feel the watch. Feel how durable it is.
I gotta check that out.
They have it in the green that you like. Vic actually has that one. I put him on. He loves it. It's just it's a great watch. You see that I have the Smurf look going on today with the blue face. But I've been using Joma Shop. They honestly have every watch. I mean, you're talking all the
You're
way.
pretty loyal, huh? Like to
Yeah.
your
Oh, yeah.
to your not digital online shop.
Yes, so
You always have a
But
place
when
where
we
you get everything.
when we started talking about No Snooze Reckies, I would always say, "Yo, I have no idea, really what to bring. Just pop it open. So it's safety clasp off. Yo, my man Justin.
Don't
was
break
killing
it,
me.
Justin. Don't break it. Listen, that's big pennies right there. 59
It's only
bucks.
59 bucks.
But
Oh,
how?
can I see
mean,
this? I
how
wanna
how
see this thing.
professional is this thing?
It's nice. It's very nice.
And everybody, they always commend the watch. And when you pair it with a nice suit, I mean, it looks tremendous. And that's a 42 millimeter, the size, just to give you a gauge.
you got big wrists, bro. Barely fits mine.
No, but it looks good, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that bad
Maybe
boy.
at 23% this might have fit.
But yeah, no, I swear it's a super easy to navigate website, and
cool
they
logo.
literally have So you pop the safety open and then pull. Yeah, there you go.
Mike, do you want to show the camera?
Very good. What do you think about it, Mike?
I like it.
It's a very nice watch.
as you know, I'm starting to get into the watch game a little bit. I don't have any, but I've been researching them. I'm the type that's kind of a all or nothing, right? Like
You would do the Rolly.
if you
just
tell
one
me
watch.
like you can't afford something or you can't have it, it makes me want it that much more.
Right.
Which I'm so guilty of that. But a lot of times I can't afford it, so I don't buy it. So
Yeah, I mean the Rolex conversation is great, and obviously there's a time and a place for it. But something that has the
But what is the time and the place for it? Because like if I had a Rolly, am I ever taking it off? Probably not.
no, and that's the thing.
Right?
Like, I mean, I wear certain depending on the watch that I have on, I'll wear it in the gym regardless because
You wear a Rolex in the gym?
I mean you can. Why not? Like,
I don't know. That's a tough.
No, it's meant to be worn. The Submariner is
Meant to
is a
be worn.
it's a durable watch. It's literally like it's the
When you
same
go
function.
salesy on me during the section,
It's the same
it's my favorite part.
function.
Isn't it uncomfortable? You don't get uncomfortable?
No.
I struggle with like wearing watches and stuff.
Dude.
I could never work out. Don't your veins like almost bust that open?
No, it depends.
Wow,
like
look at that compliment.
I don't always work out with a watch, but if I do, that's another good recommendation I'll bring is my gym band.
Yeah.
You know,
Smart.
that's a great one. But yeah, I just depending on the day, like if I want to lift and I don't bring my phone, I use my watch because I'll do an exercise for like 30 to 45 seconds and then put the weights down and I'll just look at the time. So I use it as like a function. But
I like that.
that's it. JomaShop.com. Get yourself a nice little timepiece.
Very nice. Your recommendations are like for the gentleman, and then you got mine. I'm like all over the place. I got pants,
No pants.
no pants. So
Bagels.
after this amazing, we should coordinate what we're gonna recommend
No,
because
this is
going from watches to bagels.
This is perfect.
So this diet hasn't been easy. It's been easier than some of the past because I'm finding substitutions for things, right? Like I needed a kick of energy other than the pre-workout. Just having so much caffeine on an empty stomach just hasn't been healthy, I don't think. So I was like, I want just like a bagel.
I just add bagels to my pre-workout.
So I do a bagel, I do a full bagel, and then pre-workout. Dave, like always, I'm going to quiz you on what you think's in this bad boy.
Okay.
0.
These are this is typically I get everything. Okay, keep that in mind. Typically, this was all that was available at Stop and Shop.
Okay. What do you mean you said typical? Oh, typically you get everything
bagel.
bagels. Gotcha.
These, and how much? First, let's start with calories. How many calories do you think?
Wait,
per
what?
bagel?
What's the brand name?
Can you look up what's in calories in a typical bagel? These are it's Dave's Killer Bread.
Ooh, Dave's Killer Bread.
I almost didn't support it because it was Dave's.
Can you show the camera, please?
Dave's Killer Bread. Oh, it's got some info on the front. Let me cover that bad boy. Which camera's mine? All of them? If you're effective enough, all your cameras are yours. So what's in a typical bagel? Calories? 261. Oh, wow. So these aren't that good. All right,
But
anyway.
they taste great. So wait, no.
270 calories.
Okay. Oh, you said.
Well, he said typical bagel is 260.
No. But really, what you have to ask is there protein in that bagel? Is there,
That's my
are
guy.
the carbs?
Well,
better?
no one cares about carbs anymore. We're over the carbs.
Yeah,
thing.
but that's why I think maybe that's why you're struggling, dude. You're trying to walk on the
Dude,
treadmill.
it was broken.
Do low intensity training and eat bagels, and you think you're gonna get to 10%?
We'll see this week. This week will be telling.
That's my diet.
Protein? How much protein? How much protein in a typical bagel?
Protein 11.
And there's 12. These bagels are trash.
Wow, what a branding! I got branded just like what was the one you brought in?
Wait, are they?
Zeki's.
No, that's a good.
Ziggy's. We got catfish. I got catfish by a
Ziggy's
brand.
is good.
All right, that was my recommendation. I'm
But let me
swinging
try
this.
it, bro. What's up?
What's the point? You might as well get a real one.
So are we not recommending?
No, listen. The No Snooze didn't recommend it. So listen, I tried. I thought they were good.
So what was the protein there?
It's 12.
So a regular one's 11.
A typical bagel is 260, 12. Go support local. Grab a real bagel. God damn it. Crap.
This is incredible. So we're not gonna get a taste test?
No, you can have a taste test because I'm not going to be eating them anymore.
No wonder
you have
why
a whole bag.
No wonder why Mike went back up to 15%. He's been eating
I
Dave's
think we
bagels the
figured
whole
it
time.
out. Damn. All right, well,
Oh, Next time. All right.
They're delicious, but they're definitely not as good as a real bagel. So
Really?
Yeah.
So they don't even taste as good as real bagels. They got shit calories.
I thought I was
shit
saving
protein.
cows. I thought I was saving protein. I threw a little lox on it. The lox is money, but I might as well just eat lox.
Lox,
raw.
yeah.
Well, I think that's your actual recommendation. You know, support local. Go have a
support
bagel at the
have a
local
real
deli.
bagel.
Yeah, I mean,
Upper
if you're
crust bagels, Old Greenwich.
If you're gonna
phenomenal.
enjoy a bagel, you might as well. Fuck Dave's
Yeah, for
bagels,
real.
whatever those are.
It makes sense. Sometimes you got to read the label and not be tricked by the branding.
Was there a handsome guy named Dave on the front?
The guy kind of looks like you.
that why?
I can't. Can you help me out, Justin? I can't get over there because I don't want to mess up the rig.
That is so
Let's
funny.
get these in a frame. Hit me like Brady. Nice throw.
Let me see.
Look, he looks just like you.
Oh, he's
When
kind
you
of
had
broad.
long hair.
11 grams of whole grains.
Well, who cares at that point?
Sweet and cinnamon. 12 grams of protein.
Sweet and unhealthy. It should be
no
branded.
high fructose.
Well, I guess
corn
we're not
syrup.
getting Dave's Killer Bread as a
All right.
endorser.
So, wow, sodium, 400 milligrams. Things
they might as well rename it the Diet Killer.
they might as well change their name to 15%. I mean, this is yeah. So
Maybe
all right.
maybe we have a section where I bring in my food. I just rip them.
That's good, man.
Well, I had one this morning, so I'm off track. But
This is funny. All right, so this episode we've like rambled, which is awesome. It's been fun. But there was something that CV I had asked him to save specifically for today. Right? And it's instead of like a extreme topic, it's just like a little thing. But he started asking me something along the lines of like when is enough enough? So I think we just close on that real quick. Let's see what he's got to say.
Never.
And then we'll wrap it up.
the answer is never.
So yes, there was a couple questions. When is enough enough? And not saying that you shouldn't always want more to be better, but when you're always seeking better and more and more and more, at what point are you satisfied with what you've accomplished, with what you've done, or etc. And the other question was, do you ever get tired of always seeking more?
Yeah.
Good question.
Great questions. So when I was thinking about that, yes, it is I think it's a mental barrier that you have to learn to break through. But I still use a lot of perspective in my life. So yes, I love to always seek out more, when it comes to job opportunities, when it comes to making money, when it comes to investments, when it comes to body fat percentages. That is something I think that will always be a drive. But the perspective is really understanding that I'm still blessed right now. The family that we've built, Karina and I, the family that we have, the friends that we have around us, those are the things that grounds us, and it allows me to always try to strive for more in the other aspects of my life. So no, I don't think that you'll ever stop and get to a point and be like, where I'll look in the mirror and be like, I'm completely good where I'm at. I don't want to do more, because I think I'd be lying to you at that point. If you accomplish something, why wouldn't you want to just reevaluate and try to move that needle in the right direction on something else? So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you refocus on other things, but I think there's always a pursuit of some sort, or there has to be. I think as far as purpose.
Yep.
For me, I know that I like to stay busy. I like to accomplish things. If I'm not pushing forward in goals or just what I want to do on a daily basis, I'm less of a good person overall for my family, friends, whoever it is, because I'm not being fulfilled myself, because I'm not doing what I enjoy doing.
Right.
But it's, let's take an example, the weight thing, right? Mm-hmm. What's the percentage where it's enough?
What's the percent? So that's something that I don't know. I mean, yeah, of course, your 5% sounds great, right?
But I think
negative numbers.
Negative. But you can push to are you going to push to a certain number, or you hit your 9, you're good?
Yeah. So I wanted to get. So the goal was 10%, right? And now that I'm below 10%, I've reached my goal. I don't think that it's worth it for me long term to stay on something this big. If I can walk around at 13% anyway. So yes, I think in the long term there is a win. But for me to now be not having that glass of wine with my wife at dinner, for the weekends, for me to just keep pushing things off and say, no, I'm okay. I don't think that that's an enjoyment that outweighs being a low body fat percentage.
So that's a good point. So when there's something else that is conflicting and it no longer makes sense, that is the time at which you reevaluate and change courses. And not abandon the course, but just adjust.
Right. Yeah, like for you, right? If you do Tell 'em Mike Cinch and you're eating 15 restaurant meals a week,
Yeah.
whatever it is, like at some point 12% or 15% might be what it is, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for the time being, you had an extreme push to try to get down to 10%.
Yeah, my thought with everything is like if I can do it and do everything I want to do and it's not hindering that, then just keep doing it until like you're saying stuff gets in the way.
Yeah.
So
I love what I'm obsessed with, CV, and this is where, I think the difference is in my brain. I'm obsessed with repetition. And when I am obsessed with repetition, working towards a specific goal, I know that can be applied to anything. So yes, right now the extra time frame is being put into, making sure that I get this body fat percentage. But then now when I take that stress out, now I have this time, right? So if this time I need to work on my marriage, now I take that same amount of energy and make sure I'm just pushing it into the marriage. Not that you abandon your marriage or anything, but if there's extra things that I want to do with Callie, something that we started implementing now that the weather is nice, we do a walk every day together, family walk. And it doesn't matter. I leave the job. I got to go. I got something to accomplish. So you constantly, and that's not going to be able to happen all year, but for the time being, for the next month or so, something that we want to do. So we're just doing it. So I'm obsessed with constant repetition and working towards something.
Do you ever get tired?
Yes, you get tired.
I do for sure.
Tired, yeah. I mean,
Tired can be interpreted in different ways,
Right.
Not only physically, mentally,
So
emotionally.
mentally, physically, I think that happens to me, but I've learned how to, I guess, not use it in a bad way and not overtrain per se. But it was mentally for me, right? We discussed the concept of shrinks. Right now, I have 3 of them with Mike and 4 with CV. But the shrinks have really helped.
Yeah, when are you gonna start paying?
In terms of the mental piece for me. For a long time, I had all these thoughts running through my head. I'm constantly battling things, whether if it was work problems, marriage problems, whatever. Being able to talk to a professional about that for me has taken the stress of that tired mental, if that makes sense, right? So that was something for me that has helped tremendously. I don't know if that's something that people want to do on their own. That's up to them. But for me, I had too many thoughts running through my head and not enough application coming out of it. So that's when I decided to do that, and things started working out for me.
yeah.
So yes, you get tired.
I get tired to the point where I want to quit, but you're familiar with the feeling because you've had it so many times. And I think if you're not at that point, personally, I don't think I'm working hard enough if I don't get to a point where sometimes I'm like, I want to quit.
Right.
Because then I'm not pushing hard enough, and that's in everything. That's like life, fitness, I don't know. It's okay. Like I used to feel guilty about it because then you'd be like, I'm just lucky that I didn't, but you realize that you made a decision not to. And then it gives you a little more confidence in the future,
Yeah.
So what do you do when you do get tired and you do feel like you want to quit? How do you, like Dave said, because Dave goes to the shrink and that's how he gets his stuff off. So what do you do to kind of
multiple
get
things
yourself?
Depending what it is,
Yeah.
right? I try to refocus on something else for a little bit, so you're not just like pounding that same thing. So like, if it's a family thing where it's difficult, then I'll turn to work. If it's a work thing, then I'll turn to family. So like they all should work and complement each other. So like if I have a long day in the office, sometimes it's good to just put the phone down for an hour, spend some time with the family.
Yep.
Some days you can't do that, but when you are afforded that time, then it's good to recenter, reset, get your perspective. But there's no like equation, because every year it's different stresses and
I have a question for both of you. How do you guys deal when you get overwhelmed? How do you manage that situation? And how quickly are you to recognize when you are overwhelmed and you maybe need a moment?
I've started to lean on my organization. Like if I'm getting overwhelmed by a bunch of calls for appointments, I'll pull up my schedule so that I can put people into places so it's less overwhelming and it's organized. Or like if I'm talking to Dana and we're trying to figure out the weekend and stuff, I'll actually pull up the schedule and block off times so that it's in there and I have some type of something to get it out of my head. If it's like big conceptual stuff, like big moves, like what are we going to do with this situation? Sometimes you just have to like say, I will do it later today. You can't put it off forever, but give yourself some time to think before you go and try to figure out the problem. Sometimes you're just like, it's a bad time to get input and you need to just push it to the end of the day when you're not distracted to make the right decision. which is a hard thing to learn because sometimes when you're task oriented, something comes in, you make a split decision. It's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Especially with family stuff.
To add on to the overwhelmed piece, I think the first thing is realizing it, right? Like understanding, okay, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I had read something in one of my books. The average person has up to 60,000 thoughts per day, every day, right? 60,000 thoughts just running through your head, and that's up to, I think the low number was like 15,000 to 60,000. But either way, we're walking around as individuals with 15 to 60,000 thoughts in our head. And the majority, 50%, over 50% of them are negative thoughts. This is everybody. This is a scientific thing. So what does that tell you about the average person? That just tells me that everybody's overwhelmed. Everybody has their own thoughts, regardless of the situation. So now you have to be able to literally, when that thought happens, you have to learn how to control the thought. I know we've discussed it before, but it's something that I do every single day. And the way that I do it is I literally walk myself through that thought, and I replay that thought, and I'll say, what was that thought that just said? I'm not going to get this. This interview is going to be bad? No, it's not going to be bad because I'm in control. Yes, there might be a bad question that I don't know how to answer, but I'm going to do everything in my power to control what I can. So when people ask these questions, I think there is something to it that they think that there's this magic pill that you take and then you're not overwhelmed. You will be overwhelmed for the rest of your life, no matter what it is. But you have to decide what it is that you want in your life. Mike does it extremely well. He talks about his future, and it's very similar for me too. Like I know that I already have 10 years in my job. I know that 25 years from now, I'm going to be able to retire with a great pension. I don't have a money goal in mind, right? But I know the lifestyle that I want to live. So in my overwhelmed moments, I look towards that future, right? And we were talking about the investments the other day. I got so excited because I'm like, even though my finances, and I don't mean to sound, greedy or anything like that, but they're not where I want them, right? Like, because you always want more. You always want more. But what I was so happy to see was I actually took a deep dive into the accounts for my retirement, right? We have a what's called a deferred compensation with a Vanguard investment account, and then we also have the New York State retirement system. So I was just looking at the balances and to see my projection of where I'm at. If currently today I were to retire in the same trajectory, the number that I saw was a very fulfilling number. I'm like, wow, this will give my family exactly what I wanted for them, right? Like when my wife and I are gone and the kids are there will be something for them to have. That confirmed to me that just keep doing what you're doing because you're making progress. And even small progress is progress every day. That's an account, Mike. I don't even look at that account because it's so far away. But then I was like, wow, I'm already 10 years in. Like, let me dive into this real quick. And to see that number, I was like, how? Like, I take out 10 to 15% every check, right? So it's not a huge number per check, but that compound interest over time, over 10 years, has been crazy. Time's a big asset, but a big yeah. So it's just all stuff we talk about. So hopefully that answered the thought on overwhelm a little bit. Yeah, and the I've come to realize for me personally, not knowing certain things like facts or being uncomfortable in a situation where it's just I get things thrown at me without knowing the situation gets me overwhelmed. So taking the time to ask questions, do research, and get more prepared to respond makes me a lot less overwhelmed because sometimes when people spitfire things at you and you don't know what's going on, you're like, you're on the defense versus like researching what they ask you. And this is with anything, personal life, professional. So that's been a realization of like, just research what you need to know and then you respond back with your best and that it is what it is. But yeah, you made a good point about progress. As long as I'm making progress, there's no discouragement. If they're like, I didn't make progress in my weigh-in, and that's what throws me off. I feel the same way. Because if you put everything in, yes. But then is it like, do you recalibrate on your progress? Is that you're hitting your habits and it's hard, but I like constant feedback. Yes. And in the real estate world, it's very difficult because it's not constant feedback because the deals take a while. And then in the body fat world, you can't weigh in every day. Yes. Because it doesn't matter what I mean, I guess in theory I could go weigh in every day. That's crazy. But I felt like exactly what you felt when I weighed in that time when I was 11.3, and then you get discouraged. Oh man, which then turns to inaction, which snowballs. That's a conscious decision. You have to then get discouraged by the number, which we both got discouraged because you're like, damn, I worked my ass off. But it's a conscious decision when the negative thought comes up to stop. It's like, no. the next week you will show progress.
Sometimes you have to like not lie to yourself, but like I said, this thing's broken.
Yeah.
And to make myself be like, all right, well, then we'll keep at it. Where maybe it's not broken. Maybe I screwed up that week. But at least if I have some edge and I'm in denial, I can keep. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get it.
Some would say that this search for more, to fulfill this unsatisfaction, to just do more, could be unhealthy. How do you guys balance that thought, the thought of this seeking so much all the time, no matter what, with being mentally healthy and mentally okay?
Yeah, I give no thought to that because I don't. No, honestly, I don't give any thought to any outside forces. On like, I'm so sure in how I'm approaching it with zero regrets that like.
But
I
at
know
some
what you're
point,
saying,
some point, you could burn out. I mean, it's
possible,
like a car,
but I'll deal with it
a
when
car
I
going
cross that
100
path.
miles an hour, revving high, and just going. Eventually, the engine's gonna.
But again,
unless you have a Tesla,
Can I use a metaphor real quick?
Yes.
So there was a crystal clear. I might have had a concussion during this, but for whatever reason, it's burned in my brain. There was a football play, and I was coming back to make a block, and I lined up this kid, and I could have lit him up and like had an amazing block. Instead, I had a little bit of fear, right? And I slowed down, and I kind of let him hit me, and I probably had a concussion. And it was terrible. I got the block, but it wasn't how I lined it up. And I always think about, like, I didn't commit to that, and I let fear slow me down, whereas if I'm accelerating through things, I'm much more likely to get to the point. Instead of thinking what's the worst that can happen, think about what's the best that can happen.
Fire visual, by the way.
Because
I just like I
did
as
you see that?
Yeah,
Because I'm
I
like
saw
this,
it. Yeah,
and then I got rocked, and I got a concussion because I
Yep.
hesitated. It's like when you pull out into traffic.
Yeah.
You got to pull out, right?
Correct.
You can't. And then you get stuck. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, everyone's done it. I do it all the time. So it's like when I have that thought, and I'm like, maybe the life, like if I'm missing life things with my family, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
That's like, holy shit, I need to recalibrate and get that back on track. But if it's just a matter of me burning out, then I'm like, you know what? If I do and I have a nervous breakdown, we'll deal with it. But I can't worry about that right now. There's too much that I want to
But
go.
that could affect other things.
CV,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
let me add to this too,
Absolutely.
because the people.
It's a good question.
You keep it
I
very
just-
general, and you say some people would say. One, I want to know.
I didn't want to say
No, but I'm
scientists.
serious. I want to know who are these people, right? Like, I really want to know what are these people? What are the systems that they have in
So
their
I'm talking
life?
about mental health experts. That's what
Mental health-
some people are. So that's what they. That's
So they will
these
tell you.
people
So
tell you.
what do you believe that I do? I just make it personal to me. So we're talking specific and not general. What do you think that I do that's too much that could be a potential burnout?
Sometimes the drive to always want more, to never be satisfied, to always want to achieve more and more and more, which is a good thing. I do believe it's a great thing because it
Listen,
does
when
allow
you're soft,
you.
you're soft. I don't know.
and
So
we're
when
back to
you're,
this.
so I hear what you're saying, but you also have to make a decision. I do believe it's a conscious decision. I make conscious decisions in my life, like on the weekends when I want to just chill. That's a conscious decision for me to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy the day and not worry about anything. I'm going to enjoy this cheat meal and I'm going to chill. Right? When there's times with working out, people will say, oh, you work out too much. You work out too much. I want to see the people, what they look like, for them to be telling me, because I know every single day if I want to do something active for 30 minutes, it could be a walk. But it is healthy to do something active every single day.
Why do you say it could be a walk? Walking's great.
It is, but it is for sure, but not as my main form
Yeah,
of,
I got you.
You know, if I'm trying to stay, you know, in a muscle, I'm talking on a muscle perspective.
Here's the other thing I think about, and you're making a good point. Like you can't let other people's perception of your life dictate. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but the other thing to think about is like if you push for like 2 to 3 years and you outwork everyone for even a year, you're so much farther ahead than a lot of, not that it's a competition, but you could potentially put yourself in a position where the next 5 years are that much easier.
Correct.
You know?
So
That's
excellent
how
point.
kinda-
But so
Can
here's
I-
my
can I
here's my
finish, though,
Ooh,
please?
okay.
Yeah, sorry,
Seriously.
I interrupted you. My bad.
No, it's fine. But I can't get it from. I got to
know,
be
I'm
able
sorry,
to
I'm
finish the thought. Your question
stop
is
you
fine,
there.
but also when I'm making conscious decisions to listen to podcasts every day, to read 10 pages every day, I learn new material. So unless I was a slug and I wanted to sit there and not do anything and watch TV. And, I choose to do things in my life, create systems that benefit me, that put me in a headspace to move forward. So it's all aligning to move forward. Again, some would say that it's unhealthy. I would ask those some people, what is unhealthy about it? If
they're
you're
not
trying
saying
to
it's
do
unhealthy. You have a
4,000
good
pull-ups,
balance.
if you're trying to do 4,000 pull-ups every day, yes, correct, unhealthy.
Or 1,000
yes,
push-ups.
I do get savagey at times in my head, but for the most part,
Savagey.
everything I'm doing is strategic.
There's no rules though.
Yeah.
So,
So,
like, who
but hold
cares?
on
Like,
though. So you have a balance, and I
might
think
need a bagel.
you have made this balance that works for you. So this is not towards you, in general. And this is what I was going to say to the mic, and I'm going to ask you the same question in a second because I think your answers may be different. I don't know. If you achieve that goal, that picture perfect goal that you had talked about many episodes ago, where your life work balance is perfect, the way you envisioned it, business is booming, you're doing your thing, you're walking down the town, going to the pizzeria, everyone knows who you are. Do you remember that whole?
Yeah,
All right,
I got it.
You achieve this,
Yeah.
right? Let's say you achieve this in 10 years, in 5 years, in whatever years. Are you happy then? And do you stop? Not stop, but do you just maintain because you have accomplished what you set out to go?
I think that
And David, hold it because the year is coming.
I think that goal always moves because I think I enjoy the process of building it, if that makes sense. Like, I enjoy the process of realizing, like, ooh, I'm getting a little closer. Like, I'm in conversations this year I was never in last year. Ooh, I see this, like, I see it now. I see it more
So
clear.
the question is, will you want more when you get to that
absolutely.
perfect picture,
Of
perfect
course.
place?
So you want a
'Cause there's
bank
no
account
perfect,
that does
though.
compound interest you want an investment that does compound interest for years and years and years. And then what you would choose to do is just sit back and be like, all right,
No,
I've made it.
Well, let me get a question.
This is not,
Can I
no,
get
it's
a-
not what I would choose.
I got a question.
I'm posing questions.
Can I get a
that-
question?
And I mean, so yes, I would retire from work at some point when I'm good and I have my years in. Because at some point, the work that I do, though, you collect the same amount of money not working than you do working, which is a benefit to a pension system.
But you'll probably do something.
But of course, I would do something of my choice, but I will always do something active.
Yeah.
I will always choose to be reading because I know where that brought me in my life. So the other things in my life, no, it won't change. Of course, when I'm 60 years old, am I going to be, working out the way that I am now when I'm 30? Probably not, but I would like to believe I'd be like a
Might
Coach
be.
Pete, where I'm like super
Shout
in
out
shape,
Coach Pete.
right? Where I'm just super in shape and I'm progressing. Like your thing of you hanging out with your family, yeah, that's great. No. You said that. You said
I was just saying
I love hanging out with my family.
My
He asked you, what do you love? You said I love hanging out with my family. That was I love hanging out with my family.
Yeah, I was just
Correct.
making a point of, like, if you
Which
enjoy
is fine,
something, you're
but
still doing
but
it.
at that point, the problem becomes hanging out with your family does not create longevity in your life, right? So you have to find other things.
It's possible.
No, but if you're sitting around eating donuts, hanging out with your family,
We could argue.
what I mean?
Technically, Dana and I eat sandwiches in a car, and it's providing a business
Absolutely.
angle. So
Correct.
there's always an angle.
Correct. But you have to find other things in your life that add to create that benefit, right? That can't be the one thing.
I
Like,
think
yes,
you-
of course, I love hanging out with my daughter. That's the best
Well,
thing
everyone
in the
needs a
world.
purpose. So, like, if you want to be the best dad of all time, and you want to be stay at home and all that stuff, that's fine. There's no rules. As long as you're
Yes.
enjoying whatever you're doing and you're fulfilled by it, then who cares?
Correct.
It's like there's no. I would never look down on someone because they don't have a full-time job and they're part-time. They enjoy the hell out of it. Like, I would never.
No, of course not.
And I just ask it to reciprocate. They don't judge me for working hard.
Yes.
Or not working hard, working in a different angle.
Yes.
Because I know even sometimes part-time can be extremely difficult as well.
Absolutely. I did a full-time stay-at-home dad for one day, and I almost got fired.
So, yeah.
All right, rambles.
That was good
Rambles
ramble.
over.
That
Good
was
stuff. CV, you good there? Beautiful. This will bring us to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dimes. A couple extra for you.
That was good. This is a good one. Celebrate what you've accomplished, but raise the bar a little higher each time you succeed. My friend, Mia Hamm.
Wow. Mia Hamm.
Mia Hamm.
Not to be confused with Mia Baloney. What? Did you know we were going to talk about these topics?
No.
That was a good lineup.
No.
Mine is also goes with the theme, and it is Miguelito's mantra.
Ito, ito, ito.
This world is but a canvas to our imagination.
Yes, I saw that this morning. That was
Henny
a good one.
David Thoreau.
Makes me think.
No rules. Do
No
whatever you
rules.
want. Just make sure you're taking care of your family and you can afford just standard stuff.
That's right. And tell those mental health experts to come.
Dude, it's funny with a dude with a shrink being like, I don't have any mental.
Yeah, I'd have no issues. Let's go, baby. Until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
My man.
That was a good app. That was. That's another Epi in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Come on. Come on.